Hi guys, I'm Mikaela. I run PR and comms at Ritual, and I am so excited to have all of you here for our Rethinking the Registry panel. I'd love to start by going around and having each of you introduce yourselves, your companies, and telling us a little bit about what led you to start this.
Great. So yeah, so my first company was actually in organic baby food. So I helped to create and found Happy Family Organics. And so we're now the #1 selling organic baby food company in the country, which has been really an exciting transformation. I think for me personally, I just felt so passionate about sort of the importance of early nutrition and the importance of early life in general, which I know that everybody here believes in. And that's why I think that just to kind of elevate the conversation about registry, we're really about helping to support the parents and the child during these first 1,000 days of life and these like really important early years. And so had gone so deep in infant nutrition, felt so confident about what I was feeding my baby. So I was like, he was eating sardines by 1 and, just like really felt good about it. Found myself also feeling really kind of lost in the area of what was happening with his development. It's also like, what do I do with that as a parent? When I'm a brand new parent, I don't know what's happening with my child's development, like who's there to help. And I remember watching him as he pulled himself up to one of those like plastic flashing lights toys. And all of a sudden it was like, lights were flashing and like bells were going off. And I was really craving a moment of connection with him, but it almost felt like this toy was between us. I also found myself wondering, like, what was this toy actually doing for his developing brain? And so it sent me off on this journey, and I discovered a doctoral thesis that this guy had written. He's now been researching a number of other topics in early development. At the time, he had written this thesis that really gave kind of like a nerdy program of how you can engage with your child that had nothing to do with any of the toys that I had. I realized that like the way that I was engaging with my baby felt so much more meaningful when I had the right information based on what he was trying to learn at each stage. And so then I partnered with my co-founder, Rod Morris, and we created Lovevery because we wanted to create this sort of science-backed, stage-based experience for parents where they felt confident that they were giving their children everything that they needed for each phase of their child's life. So it's toys and information and activity ideas and kind of everything you need for their development for each stage.
Yes, I love your passion, Jessica. And even though my role is slightly different, I'm an expert from Scandinavia. We had our first baby and it's all new, nothing. And as you say, like the American culture is more of, the bells and whistles and all these kind of things that was somewhat intimidating to us. So I wanted to go back to the basics and like see what works. How can I make this as simple as for us as possible as new parents, and what can we do to bond with our baby? And we followed on the Scandinavian tradition of co-sleeping. And I wanted to take that product that's been for decades over there and bring it here, but to update it with the new organic materials, and also as a way to help new parents to connect with their babies and actually allow parents to trust their intuition to keep their baby close.
Love that.
I'm Joe Croft, founder, CEO of JuJuBe, 15-year-old company. We've been around the industry for a little while, and I've just absolutely loved being in the industry. Originally came from the action sports and the outdoor industry and found that there was a lot of cool function. When people climb Mount Everest and their life is online, they develop a lot of very cool features and whatnot in outdoor packs. No one had really applied that function into mother's bags. So we created the first diaper bag that was machine washable. We put antimicrobial treatments in it. We put a million different pockets and features and made life just a little bit easier for mom. Because as you know, taking care of a kid, it can be a little bit like climbing Mount Everest. So company's been around for a while. My co-founder, Kristen, and I founded it, like you said, 15 years ago. I've, again, been fortunate to be around the industry enough that I was invited to serve on the board of directors of the JPMA, Juvenile Product Manufacturers Association, which is trade association where all the makers of baby gear all band together and create some common good for the baby industry. And I've also gotten to invest in some other companies like Wean Green, which is a great company that is glass alternative to single-use plastic containers, good for food storage. And I continue to look around and be inspired by all the great products out there in the industry. So it's an honor to be on the panel with all these other co-founders and great CEOs.
I'm Colt. I'm the CMO of Miku, Smart Baby Monitor. We're relatively new in the industry. We launched last year, January 2019. My background is similar to Joe. I came from the action sports world. I helped Red Bull build their YouTube channel. After that, did a lot of stuff with Beats by Dre, Mophie, a lot of tech companies. And I actually was over in Hong Kong and met my business partner, Eric. And he told me about this crazy technology he invented, and it was contactless health monitoring with respiratory. And I was like, this sounds like black magic. This doesn't sound real. So I went over to New Jersey and saw the technology firsthand. And I'm like, this is revolutionary. What do you want to do? And he's like, well, I actually built this because of a personal pain point. He had his baby 6 years ago, went and bought the best baby monitor on the market, and went and looked and says, it's a black and white image, SD. I don't know if my kid's breathing every night, but I developed this technology with military applications. I know I can get my baby's breathing. So his baby, number one, was actually the test subject of our technology. And it got better and better. And when I saw it firsthand, I was like, we need to make this a company. I really researched the baby industry, and I looked and was like, this is such a good industry. I really think we could do something wonderful in it. So we took the technology, placed into a beautiful baby monitor, and made it to be a premium product for every mom and dad to not have anxiety of their kids every night, and make it a simple use where you don't have to get a lot of different product sizes. Just set it up, let it work, and it does its job. And it's been really exciting ride this last year and a half, seeing this baby industry grow, meeting everyone in the industry. It's really fun because everyone in it's so happy, and everyone in it is really passionate about what they do.
Thanks, guys. It sounds like you all have created such incredible products for moms. And along the lines with that, would love to start off by just kicking off at Broad for first-time parents. What are those must-have registry items?
I think oftentimes, in the registry, we think about getting really what's the cutest, paint. I'm going to color my nursery, and I'm going to really think about thinking about, getting these adorable onesies, and sort of when I had my children, I remember sort of looking at this pile of stuff and feeling like, what does this all amount to? And I think it's really changed. And I think that that's a representation of kind of who's here with us today, in this baby registry. But I think for early learning, we often think of newborns as being these sort of little blobs. I mean, they're we've got to feed them and keep them alive, and make sure that they're sleeping. And there's so much focused on just those kind of basic needs that I think it's hard to remember how awake they are to learning in those very kind of micro moments in their first weeks and months of life. So they have these alert periods where they're craving kind of certain specific kinds of stimulation. And they're obviously looking for skin on skin. They're looking to be held. They're looking to co-sleep. They're looking, to whatever aspects, that this whole group can kind of support. But they're also really looking for specific types of visual stimulation. They're just coming out of the womb, and their eyes are actually their least developed sense, but it's the way that they take in the world, because they can't reach and grab things, yet. And so they're really looking for, kind of progressive black and white images. And so we have this play kit that kind of walks parents through all of the different stages. Should I be doing tummy time with a newborn? How does it look to engage with them, give them these black and white images in a progressively complex way that they feel good about. So I feel like early learning is sort of becoming more of a registry must-have, and it didn't used to be, and we're really excited about that. I would say also it's I think just to kind of think a little bit more deeply about feeling less of the panic around, I've got to get the right stuff, and if I don't get this right this time, this is my shot. I think there's a lot of worry for at least that I felt as a new parent, of just it didn't feel as joyful as I wanted it to be, and it didn't feel as full of meaning. And I think that when you think about the importance of bringing in a new person into this world, it can be so filled with so many feelings, but joy is one of them. And just to kind of bring that to the forefront. And then also like remembering that, that like to tune into kind of yourself and what feels like it matters to you, because it's like, it's going to be okay. Like I will say having the best baby monitor and the best setup for sleep and carrying your baby and having like a really functional diaper bag are all like critical things. But beyond that, like, I just think that to kind of take off the stress of having it have to be perfect and right and have just everything, you know, kind of buttoned up on your registry, like.
If I can chime in a little bit, and again, this is spending tons of time shopping, tons of time with the buyers, tons of time. I've got 4 kids of my own, just interacting. It helps to categorize a little bit into ages and stages, and those critical things on your registry really are going to be the things that are going to be tough to do and get in that newborn stage, because you're sleep deprived, you're worried, you're stressed, you're kind of anxious. So really on the registry, think about your nursery. So if you can get your furniture set up, if you can get your sleeping condition set up, you know, as far as things that you can push off a little bit, mobility for the kid, that's going to come later. You've got 6 to 9 months before you start having to worry about baby proofing the house and worrying about gates and about walkers and about all of those things. So as you concentrate more on nursery and then about mom mobility in that first stage right there, I think that'll kind of alleviate some of that stress of having to register for everything at the same time. So take it in chunks, ages and stages. You've kind of got that newborn stage where you're really concentrating on sleep, on feeding, newborn feeding, and you don't have to worry so much about the mobility for the kid, i.e. stroller and otherwise. Really concentrate on mom mobility. You're working with carriers and diaper bags and getting mom on the go. Car seat, of course, is one of the most important safety items that you'll find out there as well, too.
Yeah, I would say doing the registry as well a little earlier, so you have time for people to get things for you and get things set up. A lot of anxiety I feel with parenting comes when you are waiting on things are showing up and the baby's coming soon. You're like, I don't even have time to set this up. And you have a lot of life happens. Everyone has life. Everyone has daily things they have to do. And sometimes people procrastinate in setting up that nursery for when it happens. Then when you have the baby, you come home, you're very stressed and you're like, I still have things to set up. And in that time, just having everything set up as much as you can to allow you to come home to be like, it's ready, everything's ready, and not procrastinate on finishing the nursery.
Really good advice. I totally procrastinated on finishing the nursery and I so regret it. Like I still have memories of kind of like this pile of stuff and the crib that wasn't set up and just like the stress of the chaos. And then you just sit there and you're with your baby and you look and you're at all of the to-do lists. You're just constantly staring at your to-do list. You're like, I can't do anything. Like I physically cannot like move.
Things are still in boxes. You're like,
I'm like,
paper up.
Yeah, I'm like, if only I could like throw away those dead flowers that wonderful person gave me a week ago. Like, I can't even do that. Like, it's like, let alone like set up a nursery. So great advice.
And staying on the track of practicality, I would say try to stay away from those super cute multi-pieces baby outfits that look so cute on imagery that drives you nuts in real life, because you lose all the pieces, the baby will be wriggling all over.
Yes.
They're not useful, and I try to focus on the things that can actually help you, like a real good carrier, and don't be scared to actually buy and try plenty of those products, because they will help you with nursing, with the brain development, to keep the baby close, and to have, because as you say, it's like you feel ridiculous, but it's meaningful to have conversations with your child, right? When you're like out and about, like, and also around in your house, to have the baby close and you can talk to it. And that's such a crucial part of development. And also as a new mom, it's stressful when you collect all your gear. You have your like stroller, your diaper bag, all the things you think you need to get out of the house. And even now, when it's harder to get out of the house, it's even more important to make that easy. And there's nothing easier than wrapping the baby on your person to just get out in the garden or whatnot. To get that confidence to get out, because it's so important for the mom as well to, start moving and get out.
I love that. I feel like I have, just carrying your baby is just, there's just these really wonderful times you can be on a walk and you're, carrying, it's just, those are some of my favorite memories.
talking about life stages and what kind of things moms need for that really first stage of motherhood. Are you guys able to talk a little bit more about how your products support that stage?
Yeah, so we have 2 products, I think, for the very beginning of life. So one is our Play Gym, and the second is our Looker Play Kit. So again, like babies are taking in the world through their eyes. In the Looker Play Kit, we have black and white images. We have these card holders so that the baby can be entertained during tummy time. We have a really cool mobile that kind of like spins slowly. It's like this like black and white spiral that slowly spins with the air. It's made of wood. We have a wood book, and really what people love the most is this play guide, both in the Play Gym and the Play Kits, that talk about what's happening right now in your baby's development and what activities and things you can do to support that.
Yeah, and what ages do you guys continue to go up through?
So we right now go through 24 months, and then soon we'll be adding another year of life. So in about 3 weeks, we're launching our products for 2-year-olds, which I'm really excited about.
Oh, that's great. And what about Miku? What are the stages that mom should look to use that through?
Yeah, so our baby monitor is used for all stages, even when your kid is growing older. A lot of people, when they first get home, they use Miku right away to see the breathing. They have that parent anxiety of everything, and it kind of allows them to see their child's breathing. But then when they start getting older, even from the 6-month to 1 year range, 12 months, you're looking at more of their sleeping patterns and how well they're sleeping, and then you're looking at the sleep data. And when they start getting older, using the breathing and the sleep data, it has so many different age ranges that it can be used for, but it goes through a while of your kid being in the crib, but also even in the bed.
Oh, cool. So you guys both have that kind of being able to tie it throughout, things put on your registry early and it benefits your kid as they continue to grow. Joe, are you able to share a little bit more about the different things that you guys offer for those early stage and continuing?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, ages and stages super important because your activity with your kid can change pretty significantly. That newborn stage in those first couple of weeks, coming home from the hospital, recovering, bonding, that's an important stage. And just keeping your stuff organized in the house, nursery organizers are great. But we have a lot of things that go inside the diaper bag that you can also transfer back and forth to your nursery. So we've got some products that are actually designed to go inside the bag. You can pull them out, put them in your nursery. And if you happen to have multiple bags, then you can switch from bag to bag as you decide you've got different needs. As you get a little bit more advanced in the child's age, you definitely need less stuff. We make some toddler bags, which are smaller sizes. And as mom gets more experienced, she feels a little less nervous, doesn't want to carry the entire kitchen sink. So the smaller bags work really well, especially second-time moms or fourth-time moms. As they get further and further along the journey, they find that they carry less and less stuff. So we try and have a whole range of sizes and carry options as well, too. We find that early on, as people are baby wearing, the backpacks do a great job because they are really compatible with front wearing. And then as they transition into either a back carry type situation or a stroller carry, messenger type or tote type bag that hooks on well to the stroller is good for later stages. So that's one of the things we definitely design too.
The sleep-out is definitely a product that we recommended to get from the get-go, as it's designed to, you can use it for the co-sleeping in the beginning, and as the baby grows and you place it on the floor and on the couch or whatnot, and it's great to actually transition with baby as baby start to turn. You can use it as an extra safety caution, like on the couch or whatnot, but it also helps and encourage baby to actually get up for timely time. And when you have all those similar toys for the baby to look like, as you have the edge for the baby to look and explore the room and whatnot, and keeping it again on the the easy on the easy side. It's made for you to bring when you travel, when you go to your friend's house or whatnot. You always have that same little safe spot for your kid. And we'll actually notice as our kids grow out of it, we're recommended up to 8 months, and then you can use it for a crib transition.
That's great. Now, a lot of you guys mentioned that you guys were parents when you started your companies, or your parents now. What are some of those other items outside of the ones that we've talked about that no one told you about, but now you're like, this is a must-have thing that didn't exist, or no one told me, or I found out on day 3 of having my baby? What are those other items that moms and dads should look out for?
I really love the Hatch. We came into it late, but it's this sound machine and light, night light that you can use, but it's got a very simple app, and you can, what I've learned is that with my toddler, you know, as my little girl is a little bit older now, but when she became a toddler, she just would like, and transitioned to into big girl bed, like she would just wake up at any hour and, you know, like climb out. And so I think that having that cue, it's like, not like she can tell time, but being able to pre-program her pink light and let her kind of be a part of picking what color light she was going to turn on, what sound she was going to be able to turn on. I love that. I love that sound machine and light machine. It's so simple, and it's like still so helpful for us. I would also say that we discovered a natural rubber, and maybe Judith, you know about this, but like a natural rubber pacifier early on. And I just remember thinking, like, you know, some of my children, I have 3, and some of them liked to suck on pacifiers, some of them didn't, but and I know my youngest would still love it if I would let her, but I think that sucking on something, you know, kind of every day for so many hours, you really want to know what is in it. Like, they're sucking on this thing. And so I felt really a lot of comfort in the natural rubber teether material. And so we actually incorporated that teether into our products. But I love the pacifier that this company makes. I can't remember the name of it, but if you look up natural rubber pacifier, I found it to be like really kind of comforting for me that they were, you know, the baby was sucking on something that was totally from nature.
I think it's actually called Natursutten. I don't know. I would definitely go for like the stroller bag, either the sheepskin or the synthetic, which, like, you know, when you live in Southern California and you don't have the issue of like the baby being cold in winter, but for traveling or if you're in a cold climate, that is like the most helpful product out there to not having, you know, stress over dressing the baby, not being too cold. You just have this warm, isolated bag, and you put it, and you can keep it in the stroller as the baby grows for them. And then, you know, when you put them in the car seat, they can't have all these bulky clothing because the seatbelt won't work properly. So you just lift them out of the bag. They're, you know, dressed for inside, and you can just go. So that is definitely a product I would like to list for people.
If I can chime in a couple things, my kids are a little bit older. We started the company when my youngest was, you know, 14, 15 years old now, was born. So I've got kids that are quite a bit older as well too. So a lot of gear just did not exist back at the time, and it's been great to see the progress. The industry has gone from kind of a sleepy little industry where everything was pinks and blues and didn't have a very appealing design aesthetic, and a lot of it was quite frankly cheap, into things that are extremely well tested. And there is a great concern for safety out there right now. And again, I'm putting on my JPMA hat, but do look for JPMA certified products out there. There are a lot of things that get imported and go on Amazon. You don't know where they're made, what the factories are. So do look for known brands and products that do carry that JPMA certified label if you're in a category, especially like car seats or high chairs or some of the sleep products and furniture products as well too. But back to products that I think people don't talk about, blankies. You know, you'll probably get gifted a few blankets, but think real hard about which blanket your kid is going to get attached to, because it will be for years. And I think smaller is usually better. And if you can actually get multiple, if they can get attached to multiple blankets, then if you leave one at home, then it's not quite as big of a disaster. So that's what I believe. And the other thing too, you're very much concerned about your relationship with your child, don't forget about the relationship with your spouse as well too. Your partner is important. So toss a gift or two in there that'll encourage you to spend a little bit of time together, because you'll find that even if it's just a deck of cards or something like that, some time to spend together is always good, especially when you're exhausted and you're forgetting about that relationship. That's my basic input. Keep looking for things that will keep you connected with your baby, but also with your other loved ones as well.
Yeah, and I'm a techie. I love tech stuff. I actually am a huge fan of Baby Brezza, to be able to like go in, because like to me, like I loved my Keurig, and then I moved to an espresso machine. I have my espresso machine now. It's like you have a similar machine for your kid as well, which I think is a great aspect to that. And in the baby industry, which is so good, is that, Joe, like you said before, there's a lot of innovation in the baby industry, which is very incredible, where it innovates first in baby and kind of expands everywhere else, where before it would be innovation somewhere else and comes to baby. And the other aspect is, I really want to bring up what Joe said is very true. Really do your research on where brands are coming from, where the product is, because there's a lot of people just throwing stuff up, saying what it does, how advanced it is, or how great it is, but there is no research. It doesn't have a JPMA badge. It's very true to really do your research on what are good products for the baby industry, because every day there's some new product that comes out and then it disappears because it wasn't a great product. It may have been dangerous. Really do your research on what is a really good product.
Would love to chat about, we've talked a lot about what's important for a baby, and Joe, you started to get a little bit into this on what's important for mom and dad. What are some things that you guys recommend putting on there for mom or for dad?
Frida Mom has this kind of really thoughtful pack that you can get for when you're in the hospital, when you're recovering at home. That's just like so much better than just kind of taking the hospital kind of handouts of what, kind of the materials, the stuff that your body needs to process, like the fact that you've just had a new baby. So I love that, like for nurturing new moms and just like being able to just be with and be real about the postpartum moment and stage. And then, I would just echo, I think, just like mindfulness or finding a ways to like take like a bigger picture perspective on your family, your growing family, and your relationship with your spouse, and just like, and whatever that prompt is for you, whether it's, a deck of cards, or if it's like a special bottle of wine or something that that you can do to share, to just have more of that moment. So if there's something in your registry that can acknowledge that, I really love that idea. I think that Joe had a great idea to just actually make it a part of the preparing process, is like also like nurturing your relationships, your really important relationship.
Yeah.
I think, especially if you've got, if it's your first baby, then you're introducing a new person in. But if you've got other kids and this is a second or third kid, it creates an interesting family dynamic. So you might even think about, a gift for older brother or older sister. I remember as we went to the hospital with our second or third, my wife, who was very considerate about her kids in every way possible, pulled out a little doctor's, toy doctor's kit, so that the older brother could, feel like he was part of the process. So, be sensitive all the way around. I think those are good things to be mindful of. I did ask my wife, who's amazing, what were some of the things that she was a little bit surprised of that she needed to attend to, and she said I had no clue how many nursing pads I would go through. It's just something that she had not thought about prior to, or experienced prior to having a baby. So I'd put that up there on a list of consumables that you might not think about. You should be prepared for right away.
And take a great supplement, postnatal supplement.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I think
yes.
Kat might be for that, for us on that.
Hard work, so it's
great. Well, before I wrap, I want to give you guys a chance to touch on anything else that we haven't chatted about.
I will say that it's an interesting time right now, and we're hopefully getting to the point where things are starting to open up a little bit. That a lot of people are looking for things to do. Don't be shy about working on your registry now, or doing a virtual baby shower. look for ways to get to people together, whether through Zoom or through, FaceTime or conference calls or whatever you can do. Your friends are excited just, the same way they would be if you could be face to face, and encourage that social gathering, virtual gathering, and let them be a part of it. So don't hesitate to send out a registry, even though you're not hosting a baby shower, in person, and go ahead and get these people involved, because honestly, it's a diversion. It's better than sitting home and watching Netflix for your 25th hour of the day. So let everyone enjoy with you and celebrate with you.
Yeah, I keep picking up the talk about the meal services, but also like a meal train or asking for that is also a great way for people to show care and love for you as a new parent, and you can't come and actually help with the baby, but to deliver a home cooked meal, that is also a great gift that you can give for parents, and something that I think most people will be happy to be asked for as well. And we touched on like the confidence growth with each kid, and the number of items that you get for each kid is less and less as well when you learn what you really need. But in that sentiment, I would like to say, like, try to find a few trusted practitioners or sources of information, like your midwife or your doctor, or like a trusted friend that have multiple kids, and choose those trusted sources.
Some of your great resources are your local mom and pop small specialty retailers that have been in business forever. And yes, we've got a lot of online information. Yes, we've got some bigger box stores, and we love and support those bigger box stores. Most of them have their doors closed right now. But those smaller retailers, most of them are still providing services, consultations, and doing essential services out there. And they've been in business forever. Their employees have been there for, years, if not decades. Those are great resources to lean on. So don't forget about your small local retailers that you can support, and again, get great benefit out of. And again, it's just the nature of the beast. Some of the bigger shops that have more turnover, you might not have quite as much of an experience level. But I loved your input. Find people that can give you that good advice. And I'm saying, you probably have it in your own neighborhood. Just look for those small shops.
Thanks, guys, so much for joining us for our Rethinking the Registry panel.